Now that we've seen the tools that can help you understand where you are, what can we do to make it better? Well, we use the process called search engine optimization, and this helps increase the organic visibility of the web page that you want to focus on. The exact algorithm used by search engines is hidden, but best practice has identified that there are a number of factors that should be considered. They are the domain name, the URLs, content, keywords, meta tags, and links. Let's look at all of those individually now. Domain names. Your domain name will play a big part in the optimization of your website. It should be linked to your keywords, but you are limited if you're building a site for a brand that already exists because some of the names may have been taken. Domain names are not critical, but they can help. Just to put it into context, if we consider Wikipedia, they get to the top of the Google search on a number of keywords, but none of those keywords are related to Wikipedia. If we look at searches for SEO as an example, we find that a number of the search results are from domains that have the word SEO in them. So they do play an important part, but not one to be considered as critical. What you do need to consider is the extension. This will be key if you're targeting a specific country. So in the UK you would use .co.uk, for example. We then have the URLs. There is a big debate still about the benefits of focusing on URLs for SEO. What do I mean by this? The best way to explain it is using an example. So if we look at the slide, there are two pages which in theory are the same. One has been built using a coded URL, i.e. the end part, which refers to that page, is numeric, alphanumeric. And then there's another URL that utilizes a description. Best practice states that it's best to use the descriptive method as far as possible. This increased the relevance of the site. And again, to put it into context, I did a test with some images. Now, I removed the alt tag and the description tag and put them in the domain with a alphanumeric code and a descriptive code. I found them through the search engine when the descriptive code was there, but not with the alphanumeric, because there was no way you can link the two together. In my opinion, one of the most important elements of the SEO process is content. This is because it is the content on your website that drives people to it. This will lead to an increase in reputation of the site, which can be measured either by the links created or the site ranking through Google's own page ranking system or Alexa, as discussed earlier. You should develop a plan or program to post new content on an ongoing basis. It's also worth noting that there's a relationship between the number of times your site is crawled with the frequency that you put new posts on. Remember, if you've got nothing new to say, why should someone return? Meta-information and tags are part of the HTML code that helps categorize a page and tells the search engine what it's all about. The important elements of search engines are the title tag, the alt tag, and the keyword tags. If I just go back to the alt tag, please don't get confused with description tag. The alt tag cannot be seen by the human eye on the actual web page. This is the description tag, and that's like a tooltip, so when you hover over an image, it is the description from the description tag that appears, not the alt tag. Meta-information examples. Let's look at them in a bit more detail. I've done a view on Google for developing a pharmaceutical digital strategy, and what we can see highlighted in the circle or the oval is the meta or SEO title. What we can see here just below it is the meta description. Use this as a form of advertising to try and entice people onto your website. How do we get this information on? Well, your content management system should allow you to add all the information and keywords you need. If you're not a blogger or you're not someone doing it yourself, you may employ someone from an agency to do this. This is an example of a content management system on WordPress that I use to manage my blog. You can see here the elements that I need for the search engine optimization process. In this example, I've got my key focus words that I'm looking to optimize on. This is my SEO title, and there's a brief description of what you would see when it's produced. This is my meta description, which goes underneath it, and there are the rest of the keywords that I want to use. For the alt tags and the alt descriptions for the images, that would come under a separate section, but they'll still be within your content management system. And what you're trying to do is make sure that the keywords are within the article heading, the page title, the URL, the meta description, and the content. In this example here, it demonstrates that it's not in the content, so I should really go back and incorporate it within it. Can you find these details if you don't have a content management system? Well, you can. All you have to do is right-click on the page, make sure you're not on top of an image, and then click on View Source. What you'll then get is the HTML text used to create the page. There you can see the title, which we saw earlier on, and here are examples of the description and the keywords. Link building is another very important aspect of search engine optimization. You will need to develop link build programs, and this can be done either organically or through a developed program, and I'll just explain what I mean by those. The organic version is one that will only really happen if you've got great content. That might include some form of app or games or contests, etc. Something which will make you stand out, something which another person from another site would say, this is really interesting, I want to link to it from my site. The developed aspect is one where you could be involved in a number of conversations. So you might be commenting on other bloggers' articles. It could be social bookmarking. What I will say, and we'll see a bit later on, is that the relevance of this element is becoming less important. We saw earlier on that Alexa gave you the number of links that you've got. There are other websites that give you a bit more detailed information. Here's a good one that I use, domain-pop.com. So I've typed in my details and it's shown me all the links that I've got from the various sites. And you'll notice on this the no follow flag. And this is a new concept that was introduced by Google that stops the comment spamming from bloggers. So this is where the element of developed link building falls down, because if the site's got a no follow tag against it, then it won't be picked up. Another good way to explain the link building concept is through an illustration. Now, website A has a large number of other websites linked to it. So I've got 100 or so there from here, another 100 from here. So it's got a large number, and the size here demonstrates its site ranking or page ranking. It's seen as a very popular site. You've then got website H, which has only got one site linking to it. Now just hold that thought for a second. I've got website J, which has got 6 sites linking to it. Now, in the old terms, it might have been that J would have been more relevant than H, but in today's terms, because site A, which has a much higher page ranking than any of these sites to it, it could turn out that this site is more powerful than that site in terms of its ranking because of site A. You then have Q and R, which have no sites linking to it, and what Google does is it looks at that and thinks actually you're irrelevant because the content you've got obviously hasn't been picked up by others. One thing to bear in mind though is that if these sites here or these sites here were spamming sites or poorly managed sites, that could bring down your ranking. So you should be linked to relevant sites of a high quality rather than trying to get yourself linked to as many sites as possible. Finally, we're going to look at keywords. If you're really serious about optimizing a website, then you need to select the right keywords. There are again a number of websites that have tools that can help you identify the keywords that you need to use, but I would suggest you use Google's keyword tool and you'll find it in their AdWords section. You need to get yourself logged on or signed up to Google. So in this particular instance, I've put in the word self-management, and you can see here it will highlight the number of monthly searches and local searches for that particular term. Then gives you details of other keywords that are associated with it that you could use. Also with the competition. So if you're looking to do a pay-per-click program, you might say that that the low ones are the ones that you would consider rather than the high ones because they would be more costly. You can see here the number of searches that have happened on those particular terms. It's not just using the keywords that Google have said. You need to make sure you understand your users or your customers' habits. Try and find out exactly what sort of terms they use. Always ask yourself the question, have you got the right keywords? Thank you for your time. Hopefully that will give you enough information to get you started on optimizing your key websites.